Down to the wire now. Down to the wire now. Now, on the surface of it, you might think, well, what the hell do you even have to talk about with this one, Blue Wolf, right? Because, you know, oh, uh, this is just the setup for the, for the finale, right? Hell, they could have made this, a final five-parter, and it would have, flowed better. But the way that this episode ends, I feel works better as it not being a multi-parter, because the way the episode ends is just feels like a definitive like chop off of an episode. But I digress. So let's get to it. Let's get this done. For the second last time, let's talk about the episode. And then for the final time, we'll be talking about a duel next week. I've even actually set up my next couple of pages to set it up like I did with a duel with darts. And I think fighting for a friend I also did that with, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and on the wrong track. I forgot I had done that. Done that with on the wrong track. I was wanting to confirm. Yes, I did. I kind of overextended a little bit with that one, but not with this one. Not with this one. I'm gonna leave an entire page free. But yeah, the final journey. Let's just jump right on into it. So, the gang get back, and immediately the gang we immediately start with the gang waking up because they're back in the real world. What's funny is that the gang are actually don't take much time at all to start calling him a Tem. Although then they switch right back to just calling him the other Yugi in the Japanese version, and then in the dub they just start referring to him as the Pharaoh because calling him a Tem is just a little weird. Also, fun fact: they actually inform Shizu of what a Tem's name is in the sub. They don't bother in the dub. Which, I mean, I suppose that's fair, admittedly, but I don't know. There's just something. It just kind of feels awkward. So, a Tem basically starts thanking them pretty much in both versions, and Yugi and Dubatem is like, hey, or sorry, dub where Joey. Sorry, I'm saying this wrong. Whereas in the dub, Joey says that he was glad he was there and yada yada yada. Jinochi actually is like, nah, man, we're friends. Of course we'd help you out. Don't get all mushy on us. Yes, I kind of like that. Kaiba confirms that his disbelief in magic is only in the dub by declaring that it wasn't a dream. Which I misspelled. Whoops. But yeah. So then when Atem notices the Millennium Ring and the Millennium Scales, he goes over to pick them up, and effectively Atem's theme starts playing again. That that theme. Don't worry, we'll be bringing it up. It was played several times throughout the thing, and I almost kind of wish it had been just a one-shot song because we hear it in its entirety in the scene in part 4 of the final duel, but regardless, uh, okay, nothing important there. Sorry, my phone went off in the middle of talking, and I kind of hate when it does that. Anyway, so then Kaiba hands over the Millennium Eye. Bakura stumbles down the stairs because he's woken up. Shoddy Soul is gone. Atem confirms that in the sub. I should mention that. So Bakura is free. And Atem in the sub mentions that the evil in the Millennium Ring is gone. Yeah, D-Sod's gonna fuck this up. As much as I absolutely love D-Sod, and I do, I absolutely love D-Sod. By the way, I haven't decided I am gonna have DSOD count towards the points, mostly because at this point, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but for my own curiosity's sake, I'm still going to decide which version I prefer when it comes to DSOD. Uh, it's just not going to matter, especially considering for this episode the dub got the point. As I mentioned in the credits of the last video during uh, uh, or no in the credits of in the name of the Pharaoh arrow last week. Yeah, it is physically impossible for the dub to win. Even and it's just cemented by this episode as well. It's further cemented by this episode winning the point, the sub winning the point for this episode too. So even if I, by some miracle, prefer all 4 episodes of the final duel in the dub, which we'll see. I've actually got the episode loaded and ready to go right here, so I'll be doing that pretty much immediately after I shut this video off. Yeah, the best this dub can hope is to lose by at this point is to lose by 4 points. My prediction is that it's either going to be the sub is going to win or it's going to be neither. As in, I enjoy watching DSOD in both versions. That is my prediction. Which, if that's true, and all 4 parts of Final Duel get given to the dub, yeah, that'll mean that the dub will end with a final score of 69 preference points. Nice. Didn't count on that, by the way. I was actually more kind of curious if if it was actually going to be a tie. That's what I was figuring. But of course, because last week was was a point for the sub, and this week was a point for the sub. That's not happening. It is, as I said, it is physically impossible. The best the dub can do at this point is to lose by 4 points. It is physically impossible to catch up. I'm going to keep doing it just for the sake of completion, but yeah, you know. But yeah. So Bakura is free. D-Sod's going to fuck up the evil in the Millennium Ring thing. Atem goes to the tablet and examines it, and he says in the dub that according to the tablet of memories, he kept going on and was a great pharaoh. Now he says something similar in the sub, but Atem also mentions that Seto created the tablet of memories, effectively, now the funny thing is that actually kind of makes the whole Seto in the original timeline being possessed being the reason they fought kind of a moot point when you think about it. Because whether or not he was possessed when Zork was sealed the first time, well, that who guess who was free from Zork or its influence, and thus just continued to be a good pharaoh, allowing the world to survive to the modern age. So they start prepping because it's time to say goodbye to Atem, his final journey, as the dub calls it. And in the sub, the Ishtars mentioned that it's the end of the Gravekeeper's mission because their mission was always to live for this moment where Atem would return and then and then complete his journey and then go to the afterlife again. So to properly go to the afterlife again. Because remember, he never got to go to the afterlife because he's been stuck in the Millennium Puzzle all this time. So So they head over to the boat, and yeah, and yeah, uh, the gang kind of complain about it in both versions. Well, Joey complains about it specifically, and Tristan and Honda both are just kind of are like, and of course it's because of Anzu because you know. Yeah, this is the last time they're going to be around Atem, and Anzu's been kind of crushing on Atem. We'll bring that up later as well. In a little bit as well. So then Grandpa Mokuba and Duke show up because why the fuck not? Can I just say I have gotten so sick and tired of Duke inserting himself into everything. No, I seriously have. It actively pisses me off that Duke is here. I'm not gonna lie about that. I actively find Duke's presence in this episode, in these final 5 episodes, to be kind of irritating. Like, for as random as it would be, I would have preferred it if Mokuba and Grandpa ran into Mai in the frickin' in the frickin' at the frickin' airport. Hell, even Serenity would have been a better choice. You know? Like, I'm sorry, Duke has not been a good character. He's been an absolute fucking useless sack of shit to every plot in this story. I know that's harsh. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who like Duke, but I'm sorry. Sorry, not even Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged can make that character fucking interesting, and that was a jackass who every time he fucking spoke, the fucking beat of Sexy Back kept fucking playing. Granted, I kind of low-key don't like that song, but whatever. But to get back to the complaining, Ishizu mentions in the sub that the reason why they're taking a boat is for religious reasons, because boats ferrying pharaohs off to the afterlife. And the image that actually appears on screen when she's talking about this is actually a card called Yomi Ship, where if you destroy it in battle, the monster that attacked it is also destroyed, I believe it is. It's actually kind of interesting. Not a very good card, but for old school Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, it's not a bad defending monster. So then Duke explains that he contacted other people, and then we get Pegasus having a monologue that's all that in the sub is followed by a montage, and in the dub is a speech he's making over the montage. And I gotta say, as much as I love uh uh god damn it. That is gonna bug me if I get it wrong again. And because I want to say because part of me is like is wanting to just say Alistair Duncan, but I swear that is wrong. And so I'm just gonna chop out the middleman. Give me a second here. Darren Dunstan. I knew Alistair Duncan was the wrong one. Hun, hun. Darren Dunstan. I know Darren Dunstan. I love Darren Dunstan. He's a great voice actor. My favorite role of his will forever be 2003 Master Splinter. But regardless, yeah. I like his montage, but the writing is what really just murders that montage speech. You know, especially when he says annoying mousy little girls, and the person that is on screen when he says that is Serenity. Fail, Maximilian, fail. God, the montage works better with no dialogue and that piano piece that is actually in the sub. Much better. Much better. Better. So, they got on the ship, and Merrick informs the gang about the battle ritual. The idea here is that Atem needs to fight a worthy opponent in battle and lose. And Yugi in the dub is even like, what's the challenge in losing? And the Duke immediately, states it's the logic, right? Think about it. Winning is easy for the Pharaoh, right? So losing would be a pretty big test, right? So yeah, Duke gets it. So then Joey declares that he wants to duel Atem after Jinochi makes an absolutely shit hit fucking joke of tossing the Millennium items into the river. God fucking damn it. That is just so stupid. But then Kaiba is basically in both versions is just like, no, you're pathetic, you're an amateur, and steps up because he wants to settle the score in both versions. With Yugi flat out confirming that Kaiba's beef has always been with Atem, not Yugi. Which is why his actions in D-Sod actually make sense despite him being here to witness the ceremonial duel. Cool. Like, I'm sorry, but once you actually start thinking about it and thinking about the irrationality that obsession can force upon you, saying that Kaiba is acting out a character in D-Sod is at best you not paying attention, and at worst you misrepresenting the fucking character worse than 4Kids did. Moving on. But Yugi is like, no. I get it, but no. I'm gonna duel Atem. In the dub, they're like, how the hell are you going to duel yourself, man? And in the sub, they're all just like, okay. Nobody points out the logic of, you're two minds in one body, right? Like, how's that going to work? Are you going to wear a dual disc each on one hand? And I don't get that. Now, obviously, magic is going to come into play and effectively give a Tem a body. I kind of wish a Tem was given the choice of whether or not he wanted to return to the afterlife or just keep the body he's given, but whatever. Ever. Ever. But no, Yugi decides he's going to duel a Tem because he needs to prove that he's ready to separate from a Tem. And I actually kind of like that. I actually understand that completely. So then Taya and Anzu show up. And they chat for a bit. Yada yada yada. And Yugi states that it was actually a Tem she wanted to see one last time and apologizes for it. The problem, though, is that Anzu is basically wanting a Tem to stay. Because she's crushing after a Tem. Okay. I gotta be honest with you. I've never bought the whole Taya being in love with a Tem thing. It's puppy love at best. And I'm just gonna point blank say it. It's puppy love at best. And the reason I say that is because she has not really been acting upon being in love with a Tem. Not really. They actually played with this more in season 0, which can't be canon to the Gallop anime. I've already stated my case on that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It cannot be in continuity, but happened completely differently. Does not work. Especially when they changed the final battle of Death Tea. It can't work like that. But to get back to the point, season 0 actually did more with Anzu's feelings for a Tem than the Gallop anime has ever done, because the Gallop anime has never focused on it. But just before that, either just before or just after that, Yugi starts to reminisce about the fact that it took him 8 years to solve the puzzle. His life changed forever. He's grown as a result. He's more confident now. He's got strength. Yada yada yada. And I like that. It is a bit of tell don't show, but I think in this case it's just kind of a in case you haven't been paying attention kind of tell, as opposed to us never seeing it at all. Especially considering the show came during the Dark One Cometh 4-parter. Because remember, Atem didn't even know that duel happened. And he will not know any of the cards that are going to show up from that duel. So, yeah. He also. We also cut over to Joey, who reminisces about his growth, that he's come a long way as well. Hell. And one nice touch that I like is that Atem has been kind of hiding away so that he doesn't peek at Yugi's deck. He somehow senses that the deck is complete right when he comes out, which I think is I like. My headcanon is that he just got lucky with that. I mean, the Millennium Puzzle is supposed to vastly increase your luck, so shrug. But yeah. Maybe that's why Atem is allowed to lose, because he can't access the power of the Millennium Puzzle during the battle ritual. Because remember, the puzzle has to be put into the Millennium Stone, aka the Tablet of the Afterlife, in order to have them be two bodies. So, yeah, that's cool. Well, in the sub, Yugi gets a little inner monologue to himself about how he has to do this. He doesn't want to duel Atem, but he has to. He has to prove that they're ready to separate. And I kind of like that. I also like that everybody's restless too, because I mean, big fucking day ahead. I can completely understand why nobody's able to really fully get a full night's rest. In the dub, Atem claims that he's built his strongest deck, and in the sub, he declares that just before he starts building his deck, that he's going to put his whole heart into creating the best deck he can, so that way he can give it his all against Yugi. And I have to admit, I like that. I really do. I like that. But that is it for this. Man, 27 minutes already. Just my timer just ticked over to 27 minutes. But yeah, no, that is the final standalone episode of the show. I'm actually getting a little emotional now that I'm at the end. Now that I'm one video away from completing the series. One video away from completing the series, two away from being done with all of the reviews who's related to DM, and three away from this phase of the project being done. God, that is a weird thought. That is a weird thought, to only have 3 videos left. That's crazy. But we are here. Next week, we say goodbye to the show. Until then, and for one last time, well, for the second last time, because yeah, I'll say it at the end of Final Duel, because DSOD. But for now, I'm gonna sign off. See you at the finale, guys. See you in the see you next week for the final duel of the show, and then I'll see you for DSOD. Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers, signing out. Have a good one. Duel, stand by.